The desert night shimmered with a heat that refused to die, even after the sun had long abandoned the horizon. Dr. Elias Crane stood ankle-deep in the dust of time, brushing away the last grains that separated him from history, or something far older. His team had gone to sleep hours ago, but he couldn't stop. There was something magnetic about the smooth, black shape half buried beneath his lantern's trembling light. When he finally unearthed it, he realized it wasn't a relic carved by any known civilization. The statue, if it could be called that, was formed from a single block of obsidian-like material that absorbed light instead of reflecting it. Its features were humanoid but distorted: elongated skull, hollow eyes, and lips curved in a faint, knowing smile. Strange markings spiraled down its surface like veins of frozen lightning. Elias ran his fingers over the alien texture, half laughing at the absurdity of it all. "Guess you're my only company tonight," he muttered. The desert wind whispered in response, eerie and electric. Without thinking, perhaps out of exhaustion or loneliness or curiosity, he leaned in and kissed the statue's cold lips. The air split with a soundless pulse. His lantern flickered, the sand trembled, and for one impossible heartbeat, the stars overhead seemed to blink in unison. Elias stumbled back, clutching his head as a sharp vibration echoed through his skull. The statue glowed faintly, symbols along its surface rearranging themselves into patterns that looked eerily alive. Then, just as suddenly, everything went still. The desert was silent again. Elias laughed shakily, convincing himself it was fatigue, a hallucination brought on by heat and too little sleep. But as he turned away, he didn't see the statue's eyes faintly open, nor the invisible wave of energy rippling into the stars above. The next morning, Elias woke to the hum of static in his radio and the uneasy silence of his team. Every piece of equipment in the camp was flickering. Laptops rebooting, drones falling from the sky, even their satellite uplink cycling through unreadable data. "Solar flare?" one of the technicians muttered, tapping his screen. But the readings weren't random. They pulsed in steady intervals. 5 beats, then 7, then 5 again. A rhythm. When Elias checked his smartwatch, he froze. The pattern matched his heartbeat. By noon, every observatory on Earth had detected the same frequency. A low, mathematical pulse repeating across the atmosphere. News reports spoke of a cosmic Morse code blanketing the planet. Government agencies scrambled, and the global network of satellites began to fail in sequence, as if something were hijacking them. Miles away from the excavation site, Elias sat beneath a tent, trying to convince himself that it had nothing to do with the statue. But the truth gnawed at him. The night before, he had felt something slip behind his eyes, a vibration still echoing faintly in his skull. Then his phone buzzed, though it had no signal. A new message appeared on the screen. "The beacon is awake." Elias dropped it instantly, backing away. The desert wind picked up again, carrying with it a strange metallic scent, like ozone after lightning. Overhead, clouds began to spiral unnaturally, forming a vast circle that reflected faint light even in the midday sun. All across the world, buried artifacts that no one had ever noticed, black obelisks, fragments of the same impossible material, started to hum in unison. The frequency rose, harmonizing into something almost musical. Somewhere deep in the desert, the statue's faint smile widened. The signal had been received. 3 days passed, and Elias hadn't slept. His dreams bled into waking moments, visions of alien cities made of crystal and light, creatures with translucent skin speaking in tones that resonated inside his bones. Every time he blinked, he saw them more clearly. The statue haunted him even from miles away, though it had been sealed under military quarantine. Doctors at the base camp ran tests, but none of the results made sense. His blood showed microscopic structures, metallic, geometric, and self-replicating. "Nanites," one biologist whispered in disbelief. "They're rewriting him." Elias sat quietly as they argued, feeling the slow, rhythmic pulse of something vast moving inside him. At night, he wrote equations in the sand, symbols he didn't recognize but somehow understood. Circles within circles, coordinates that described places no telescope had ever mapped. When the scientists analyzed his sketches, they found they formed a perfect three-dimensional lattice, the same pattern encoded in the alien signal. Then came the voice. It didn't speak in words but through feeling, a vast intelligence reaching across time and space, using Elias as a vessel. You touched the seed. You rejoined the code. His reflection in the mirror no longer felt like his own. Faint traces of light pulsed under his skin, threading along his veins like silver fire. He began to sense electricity, feel the hum of machines as if they were breathing. Radios crackled when he walked past. Drones turned to follow him. The soldiers whispered that he was infected, but the truth was worse. He was connected. One night, as he stared at the stars, he whispered to the unseen presence, "What are you?" The answer pulsed inside his mind, vast and calm, older than the earth itself. "We are what made you, and we are coming home." By the time the world realized what was happening, it was already too late. The pulse had become a constant presence, vibrating through every device, every frequency. Satellites had fallen silent. The night sky shimmered with strange auroras even near the equator, ribbons of color twisting in impossible patterns. Governments went dark. Panic consumed cities. But deep in the desert, Elias stood perfectly still, his eyes reflecting the same alien light that now painted the heavens. Inside his mind, the voice had grown clearer. The recall is complete, the harvest begins. Visions flooded him. Images of immense ships gliding through the void, their hulls made of the same black stone as the statue, their shadows swallowing the stars. Earth had never been alone. Humanity was never its own creation. They were experiments, descendants of seeds planted millennia ago, meant to be reclaimed when the time was right. Elias tried to resist, to silence the voice. But it wasn't just inside him anymore, it was inside everyone. Around the world, millions began hearing whispers, feeling an urge to look skyward. Some collapsed in prayer, others screamed, and in the center of it all, Elias understood what the alien presence wanted, for him to guide them back. The military surrounded his camp, demanding answers, but when he spoke, their weapons failed, their radios died. "I didn't mean to wake them," he said softly, "but they're already here." Above, a shape blotted out the moon, an immense vessel descending silently through the clouds. The wind trembled, the earth groaned. Elias raised his hands toward the sky, torn between awe and horror. The voice whispered one last time, gentle as breath, "You are our bridge, Elias Crane. The return begins with you." And as the ship's light engulfed him, humanity's final countdown began.